Now welcome to the program, Connor McCabe.
Senator,
Connor, can just
what? I'm not allowed to say my piece?
Welcome.
That is brand new?
It's brand new.
Wow.
Yeah.
2024 sound effect. Can
Yeah.
you play it again?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You wanna hear it again?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Senator,
Connor, can
what? I'm not allowed to say my piece?
That is of course the Roy family speaking to one another towards the end of Succession.
I did not pick up on that. I was trying to catch the voice. It sounded like two streamers quarreling on like a stream, but that's great.
And it's what's funny about that is it's not that at all.
Yes.
It's Succession.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for
You
having
know
me.
what? You're welcome. And I'm glad you're here. I cannot wait to talk to you here in a minute, but I got to introduce everybody else. Of course, welcoming to the show for the second time this year, actually, Mikey Stephens. Hello.
Hello. Is it? I don't remember. Sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot about the other time.
I love Yoshi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here
Absolutely.
for the second time.
And I think this might be our final guest's Video Games Economy Show debut.
This is a
Is
big
that-
moment.
Is that
Yeah,
true? Is
I
that even true?
I think so, unless we count the Patreon.
No one knows.
But that was no.
The thing is you can't look it up. It's impossible. There's no way we can find out. It's of course Kristin Thorson.
Do I wait for a sound? Oh,
And together we'll take revenge on the planet.
a real cacophony of sound. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it. I try to mix and match, little blendy here
Yeah,
and there.
Little
Two-
Stardew Valley.
Yeah, two things. Well, I saw, of course I'm doing Kristin research. I'm like, okay,
Right.
what's a game? Oh, Stardew Valley comes up right away. And then that is, of course, the great Kadaj. Speaking-
Everybody's favorite character
Everyone's
in the Final
favorite.
Fantasy universe.
Final Fantasy VII character, Kadaj. Today, we are in our final episode in our series I've been calling Road to Rebirth, formerly titled One Wing Memories. The formerly titled sucked, so I changed it to Road to Rebirth, which makes a lot more sense. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out this week, as of the time you're hearing this recording. It's nigh upon us. The meteor is careening towards the planet, folks. It's gonna drop here any second. Show of hands and nonverbal. Who's excited? No one raised their hands. Interesting. No.
He already told us to be nonverbal and totally ignored us.
It broke the law.
Yes, of course. We have been doing episodes leading up to the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We did Crisis Core, something that happened in the past. The original game, something that I think happens in the present. And then Advent Children today is what we're covering. The movie, something that happens in the future. I can't wait to get into it. But first, boy, oh boy, I got to hear what everyone's been playing. I'm freaking dying over here. Connor, I never talked to you. What could you be possibly playing?
See, you say that, which like could be a bit, but we did used to do a podcast with each other every week where we knew it was a surprise if we knew something that, like when you would go on Video Games, a comedy show, even though I wasn't on it every week, if you ever said something that was a surprise to me, it felt like I'd been left out of some information.
Oh yeah, when I would like see you on a podcast, I would try to
Yes.
zig when you think I would zag. I'd go like, "Oh, and surprise! I've actually been playing Kirby Tilt and Tumble," and you'd be like,
Yeah.
"What?" And I like turned it on for just 2 seconds just to say I played something different.
Yeah, we're always working on ourselves and we're always playing new things. But Jeremy, we don't get to talk about this that often,
Okay.
often enough. I'm of course, playing the original Mass Effect for our Mass Effect Games Club on the Patreon. And we're rounding the corner on this bad boy. Only 2 more episodes to record. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I actually missed the last recording, unfortunately. But after that recording, I mean, you guys are like, we're in the end zone now.
We're standing in the end zone, holding up our hands, waiting for someone to toss us a nice
Yeah.
football.
Exactly. Well, waiting for Garrus to toss us a nice
He's a quarterback.
Krogan. No, that doesn't make sense.
I'll take it.
Uh-huh.
But zooming around in Mass Effect, really enjoying it. Have either of Mikey or Kristen, have you guys played the original Mass Effect?
No, I always
Yes.
just do the DLC that lets you make all the big decisions.
Yeah, like that comic, that playable
Yeah.
comic.
Yeah,
I
I've
like
tried
that.
it before and it wasn't for me. Sorry, though. I
Yes.
think Mikey said yes, so that's cooler.
That's all I got. I have nothing more to add.
Hey, I was just-
Well, did
enjoyed
you
my
like it?
time.
Did you like it?
I did. I think.
What was your favorite part if you did?
Yeah, prove it.
Driving for an hour on that mountain from fucking place to place.
Yep,
That's
the
what stands out
Mako-
about me
Pretty
from
cool.
that game. to me.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool. You like doing that in
Driving
real
that
life too,
stupid
driving up
car.
a mountain.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
So, if you want to hear my thoughts on that, subscribe to our Patreon.
You
It's
just
we do an
gotta.
episode every week. What were you going to say, Jeremy?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you were like winding up for something. So playing that, was telling Jeremy this. I've been goofing off in some Mario Kart lately. You guys heard of this? You seen this? You heard about this game, Mario Kart?
Mhm.
You've been goofing off in it?
I've been freaking
You're
goofing,
crazy, man.
Going the wrong way.
dude. Just doing crazy stuff. I have been. I've got like my original Nintendo DS, my like chunky silver DS that's on my nightstand now. And so sometimes before I go to bed, I'll pop that bad boy open and I'll play a Grand Prix in Mario Kart DS, my personal favorite of the Mario Karts. And it takes a lot of getting used to once you like are
get used to it.
because we're also used to like how 8 Deluxe plays at this point on the Switch. And when you go back to an old Mario Kart, not all of them are going to be like a smooth transition. This one is pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I noticed you called it a Grand Prix, but show of hands, who thinks it's a Grand Prix? Nonverbal. Everyone raised their hands. Everyone raised their hands. They think it's a Grand Prix. Sorry,
audio
Connor.
listeners being led
Overruled
astray.
Grand Prix.
Okay, so I'll do Grand Prix, but that's been fun. I got a couple people to play Double Dash with me the other night, which was great. Just like a impromptu Double Dash session. That one is really tough as well. So I feel like I need a pat on the back for playing really difficult Mario Karts. And then, in anticipation of being rebirthed, I've been playing through the original Final Fantasy VII and 7 Remake.
What the
On the heels of playing the
absolute
DLC.
heck? That'll
Really
get you
feel-
one of those around here.
I feel like I earned it too.
You earned it.
But what I'm doing is I'm playing chapter by chapter. So like if I play a chapter or like, up to a certain point in the original, I'll play it in the remake. The problem with that is that I've played the remake for like 3 times the amount of time because in the original, you can get the wall market in like 2 hours and in remake it's like 12 hours. So
Yeah.
I'm mostly playing the remake, but I'm really loving bopping back and forth and sort of comparing scenes here and there to see what they did that's like 1-to-1 from the games, as close as they can, or like what they fleshed out. It's great. And I'm along with our main topic today, I'm Final Fantasy VII just pilled. I'm
Yeah.
drinking the live stream.
You're pilled out of your mind with that stuff, dude.
Give me that Mako, baby.
Yeah, you're taking materia just 2 at a time.
Dude, yes.
With a alcohol's chaser. Maybe an alcohol you bought at Seventh Heaven.
I
The
did.
bar.
Tifa made me something hard, and I appreciated that.
That's really fun, dude. You're
Yeah.
making me kind of want to turn on that original game.
Hey, it's worth it, pal.
I mean, should I, guys? Show of hands, nonverbal. Everyone raised their hand. They all want me to do this.
There's plenty of time before it comes out.
You got 3 days. Play the original all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of like, did you, real talk though. Is everyone day 1 for Rebirth? Or is anyone day 1 for Rebirth?
Yes, in the sense that I have already. I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
But I don't know if I'm gonna start it. immediately.
Okay. You need to make some time.
I need to make some time. Yeah. That's where I'm at with it.
Get someone to cover some shifts.
Yeah.
At work.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristin, what about you?
I am. I pre-ordered the ridiculous Sephiroth statue version.
Oh
Yes.
my god!
Yeah, I was hoping. I only just learned about that, and I was hoping so bad I'd get one.
Yes.
So yeah, and then I also took time off. I took Friday and Monday off of work, but then like an idiot didn't realize that I just moved out of state like in October, and so I've been waiting for like 4 months to get into these doctor's offices just to like become an established patient. I have appointments on that Friday and that Monday, so my plan to just sit and vegetate and like rot and play this game is ruined by the fact that I will have to like put on real pants and leave the home, but it's
Gosh,
still
that's
plenty
like
of time.
At least 2.5 less hours of this game you're going to get to play in those 2 appointments.
I know.
Oh,
Kristen's gonna be in that doctor's office being like, Hojo?
I'm gonna buy the PlayStation Portal just so I
Yeah.
can bring it and be like, you
You're
do
like,
what
"What's
you
your
need to. I'll
Wi-Fi?"
be busy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Jeremy, I keep chirping about this in Discords and text messages. I've been looking for work for a bit outside of like a couple gigs I do every week that don't pay near enough to sustain a person. And I keep saying that I'm going to wait until I get a job to buy this game. But the closer we get, the more I know that I'm going to spend $70 that I shouldn't.
It's one of those games where it's like almost for sure you can rationalize it. You're like, okay, look, it's a big one. It's a big one. And who would I do a pot? Who would I can write it off my taxes because I do
That's how it
podcasts.
works.
So I think I'll probably end up, I don't have a pre-order. I'll probably end up going to Best Buy and picking up the standard PS5 version.
Okay.
But I have been grappling with that. But also if anyone knows of any work out there,
Yeah.
hey, hire me.
I
I'm
think
a
the
really good
strategy is
immerser.
like a good 2 birds with 1 stone thing where you're like, both, you're updating us on your rebirth status, but 2, you're also dropping that hint like, hello, if you're
Hello.
hiring.
Yeah,
And what kinds of things can you do? Like, let's just also put that out there. Like,
this is
Yeah.
good. This is
What are your
important.
skills?
yeah. What are a list of skills? I mean, we'll say podcast producing, editing, engineering. That's a
Oh,
big one.
I was going to say squats, chocobo racing, snowboarding,
Materia hunting.
materia hunting, a lot of that
Uh-huh.
sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Chocobo
put the
snowboarding?
stipulate,
Or,
what'd you
or
say?
separate?
Chocobo
snowboarding?
Snowboarding.
Well, I do all
Together?
3. I don't like to brag, but I can do that. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the thing is like I had a job that I was like, surely I'm going to hear back from this place that told me they were going to get back to me about my assessment that's been 5 weeks. And now I'm like, well, I don't think I'm hearing from this place.
Yeah. And of course, since it is a comedy podcast, I have to ask you, who is Shirley?
Who is Shirley?
Well, you
Like,
said
did I say
Shirley.
Shirley? I'll get
back.
Yeah, you're like, surely they'll get back to
I've never
me.
thought of answering who Shirley is. Don't. I can't tell you who she is.
Kristen.
And that's just good comedy, baby.
Yeah. It's a good comedy.
You can hear
Note
me
to
getting
self,
cut from Harold
cut
Knight
that
as we
the
speak.
hell out of the show. Kristen, you ordered the biggest of the box sets. with
Yes.
this. I ordered what I would think is probably the medium of the box. It's just the box. It's like
You went Goldilocks with it.
Yeah.
That one's just right.
just right for me.
Just adding to the comedy.
Yeah. Goldilocks stuff is hot right now. TikTok trending Goldilocks. It'll look good on the shelf. I'm really excited. I guess, do I want a statue of Sephiroth? Yeah.
Do I have anywhere to put this?
Yeah.
No.
Would my wife start packing her luggage immediately if I brought that in the house? Yeah. So this is a good
Like,
good
babe. It's for
balance.
you too.
It's for you too. We can both worship it together.
Use them as a little coat rack.
I'm excited for you to get that big statue. I would love to see a pic of it online. If a pic shows up online of that thing, I wouldn't hate it.
All right. Well, yeah. Who knows when I'll find a place for it? Because I genuinely don't know where I'm gonna put it. It's so ridiculous. It's like 2 feet or something stupid. Maybe like 1.5 feet. But either way, like anything more than like 8-inch statue, it's like, what am I doing with my life?
Oh, yeah.
But I had to.
Well, what have you been playing recently?
I've been playing through Persona 3 Reload. I'm not gonna finish it before Rebirth, I don't think, but I'm playing it on easy mode because I've played like 2/3 of Persona 4 and 5, and then like stopped in each of them. And this time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this the Persona that I finish, so I put it on easy, so that way I don't have to grind. And I'm never gonna play a Persona any other way ever again. It's the best. You just go through and like rush through all of the battle stuff, and then spend the rest of the time doing your little social links.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite part of those, to be honest. The combat is fun, but there's a lot of it for
Sure.
what they are. And then I just finished replaying Jack and Daxter.
Oh,
Ooh.
the first one?
Yeah, the first one.
Oh yeah, I tuned in on your stream.
Yeah, I hadn't played it since I was a kid, and it's really good, and it's ahead of its time in a lot of weird ways where like I don't know, I never realized that it doesn't have any loading screens. Like everything is just like you
cool.
kind of go into the next zone and like it kind of hides the loading from you because the way that it's structured. But also I'm really bad at platforming and the end is so hard. The ending is just like the hardest platforming I've ever done. And then I just beat Minish Cap for the first time. Yeah.
Damn, 2 in the same episode.
And Connor, you love this game, right?
I ended up being, it's funny because we both were playing through it at a very similar time, on stream no less, and I was fine on it overall. It's a Zelda game, so I did enjoy it, but there were definitely some things about it that grinded my gears, and I took 2 weeks off from the day that I like tried to beat the game and lost to the final boss like 4 times before I came back and actually beat it. And so yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way. How did you feel about it, Kristin? Did you?
I loved it. I loved it, but then I was watching you play it, and I was like, "Oh man, yeah, he is having a rough go of this." And then there was somebody else in my Twitch chat where they were like, "Oh, like this part, I forget what it was." And I'm definitely not trying to pat myself on the back because if you ever watch my stream, like I do some real stupid shit in games. But for some reason, Minish Cap, I was just like, "Oh yeah, this is what it wants me to do," and the people were like, "That took me like 2 hours to figure out." I'm like, I don't know, it just like where else are you gonna go? And I'm in other Zelda games, I get so pissed to the point where I have to look stuff up and to see what it wants me to do. So I don't know. Minish Cap, like top of my list now.
Wow.
I really loved it. Yeah, that everybody play Minish Cap.
Yeah, yeah, it's on the NSO, right? You can
That's where I played it.
Nice.
And yeah, so I even only had to do a save state like one time. So
nice.
Cool.
But I just like that it wasn't the same. Like obviously, like it's Zelda, so there's nothing wrong with it always being the same thing. But I liked that it wasn't exactly the same thing that it always is. Like it had a fun mechanic with the shrinking and stuff, and it wasn't Ganondorf. Like I don't know, it was just really cool. And I love the Picori, the Minish. They're so cute. They're so cute.
Yeah, I love shrinking down real small in that game and seeing like a big shoe. You know?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for really tiny content. Bugs Life or Bugs Land and at California Adventure, loved it. The Borrowers, Secret World of Arietti.
Yeah, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with the big Cheerio.
Yeah. Oh my god, and the big ant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, tell me you didn't cry for the big ant.
Brutal.
Did anyone play the like survival game?
Grounded.
Grounded. Yeah. Did anyone try that out?
No, but
I'm scared of spiders.
Big news on Grounded though. It just got it's now going to be not just an Xbox thing. It's going to be on all the different consoles.
Ooh. I didn't know it was exclusive.
Yeah.
Oh, Mikey.
I'm like, where did I play that? It must have been
Game
Pass or something.
Game Pass.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but is it fun?
Yeah, I had a great time.
Cool.
I mean, it's like a survival progression game. You gotta build your shelter, et cetera, but you're tiny, and so you guys are speaking that game's language. There's all types of big shoes.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if there was big shoes.
Can you live in a big shoe?
There's all. Of course you could. You could
boy,
live in a big old shoe if you want.
I'm pretty sold
cool.
on big shoe stuff.
Yeah.
I like that Persona 3 Reloaded. I've been liking that I've been playing that on Xbox a little bit too, Kristin, and it's are those 3 games, 3, 4, and 5 like the exact same thing? They're like the exact same thing, right?
Like the mechanics wise, basically,
Literally,
like
the loop is just
like Junpei is Chie
Yeah.
is the blonde guy from 5. Like
Yeah.
like there's the same archetypes. You know,
you
you
go
have
to
all, like,
school and then you go into the hell zone and then you go back
Yeah.
to school.
and some really grim shit is happening to the people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's some of the social link stuff in 3 Reload. I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Like it has like a little content warning when you load it up, and I was like, I guess I understand now why. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think this is a spoiler to say, but if you don't know, in Persona 3, the way that they call their personas is they shoot themselves in the head.
You better believe they do. Okay.
I did not know that going in. I've never played the original.
Yeah.
And my friend's like,
It's
well, it's not
a
technically a
bold
gun.
choice.
That is-
It's a bold choice.
That's an understatement. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucking wild, man.
yeah.
Wild ass shit.
Especially,
Yeah.
I guess I was gonna get into something that is a spoiler that makes it even more heinous to me. But yeah, it's a wild choice for sure. But I really like it. It's really fun. So
Me too. I really enjoy that game. I like the I guess I like the characters. But then I played some of these other ones and I feel like the character, like you were saying, Kristin, they do kind of like, well, this character is really just this character kind of again, kind of a thing. And it's like, nah, I don't know. I just give me keep giving me the same drip
Yeah.
drop persona. I
Final
suppose.
Fantasy is kind of the same way, you know, like
Big sword, little
big
guy.
sword, yeah, big sword, little guy, magic girl,
Yeah.
Weird
Mikey
creature.
Stevens, what have you been playing?
Man, I'm trying to think of what the last episode I was on and what was I.
You were on the
talking
very
about?
first episode of 2024. We talked about games that we were excited about this year, and we couldn't think of anything. All we said was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it was like, I still don't think we really know much about this year.
It's been a lukewarm kind of year, I feel like, so far. I don't know if I already talked about this, but I was playing Dave the Diver a lot. Anybody playing that Dave the Diver?
I love that game. I played it
That
last year.
game is a fucking delight. Highly recommend. High recommend for anybody.
Ooh.
There's a part of me that my only thing that I kind of wish is like I could focus on just the restaurant at times more. I just want to sell sushi and be a big time sushi salesman guy
Yeah,
and run a
yeah.
great restaurant. But that game's incredible and really just gets really intricate. Like it starts kind of slow, I think, but then it really like the systems and stuff really stack well. And it's just has a great sense of humor. Really cool art style. I fucking love that game. Cool music. That game's great.
Is Godzilla in it yet?
In Dave the Diver?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
there is a DLC.
It was announced. Godzilla was announced.
It's
I
like,
forgot
what?
for a second, and I was like, "What the fuck are you,
Mikey,
asking?"
you don't
Yeah.
live
Anything
inside
could be a
YouTube videos of announcement trailers. You don't
Man,
live in State of
With
Play.
you, I don't know where I am sometimes, baby. So I've been playing that, and then the other game that just came out recently, I've been playing with my Seattle squad is Helldivers 2.
What the?
That game is a fucking good time.
God.
That game is very, very fun. They were really struggling with some like server capacity issues. That stuff is starting to kind of smooth out a little bit. Because there was a few times where we were all trying to play and none of us could even get into the damn game.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's like Helldivers 2 is kind of like a smorgasbord of stuff. It's like a Left 4 Dead-esque. I don't know, like there's upgradable systems though, and there's these things called stratagems in the game where you can like call down orbital strikes, but you have to do it with like a what do you call it?
Like a
almost
fighting game
Yeah, like
combo
combo
chain, yeah.
moves. So it's like very exciting because you'll be like mid-fight trying to like call down a gun for yourself, running from an alien, and you're trying to like input this code. It gets very frantic and very, very fun. It's a good time. And then of course I'm hopelessly addicted to NBA 2K24. That game's doing nothing for me. I just play it because I have to, and
That's
something's
sweet,
wrong
man.
with me.
Yeah.
and I never stop.
Did you ever get to where you could dribble in it? I know you were struggling with that for a while, like
Still
the
haven't.
dribble mechanic.
Yeah, can't do it.
Because it was
I
like
don't
a
know how to do it.
complicated, but it was like kind of like a complicated button press.
Yeah,
right?
you would think it's not. Just move a joystick in any direction and you would. I just freeze up. I just get
Too
I
nervous.
Kind of too nervous, too
yeah.
spooked.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
want to. Too afraid of turn it over or having people laugh at me and tell me I'm a big old fool. So I just stand there. And
Dude, that happened to me in high school. They made me play baseball for like a credit.
who's they?
The school did. They were like, you
They're
got
like-
to do one athletic thing here. And I had played baseball my whole life. And I know everyone knows how to throw a ball. It's the same way you throw anything. But I got in my head, and the first day of practice, I forgot how to throw it. So I would like look at it for a while, then I'd go like, yeah, and then it would just go like right down to the floor.
You
It
just
was bizarre.
Like-
charging up like a Kamehameha, but nothing's coming out.
I was sort of shock putting a baseball.
Yeah.
You know what like that like woo. And my coach would be like, "Are you trying? Are you doing this on purpose? You don't want to play?"
He's like, just do regular throw, just a normal one. Try that one.
Friend of the show, friend of definitely Connor and Mikey here. Charlie Mihelic is a big hell diver too.
Oh,
Guy
it
and wanted to
is.
start a squad last time we were hanging out, and
Oh, it's a good time.
I definitely wanted to do that. I was thinking about asking you, Mikey, if you wanted to join, but it seems like you already have a squad.
I could have multiple squads. What the heck? I'll play. What the heck?
I don't know.
What the heck? I'll play.
I
Let's
don't
play
know.
video games.
Maybe if you I think you might actually have to break up with your other squad to join our squad.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
I think
I
you
can't
might
be in your squad
actually
then. Okay, then I won't.
I think you
I'm
might actually
committed.
have to call a meeting. Everyone gets
No.
on
Call an
Zoom.
orbital strike on your
Yeah,
squad.
call an
Oh,
orbital
that's
strike.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wow.
Good time. Worth also
Helldivers
$40
too.
that
Yes,
game for
and-
like the basic version. Worth it. So worth it. Great game.
Okay, I want to check that out. The server stuff I don't love that. I was playing Final Fantasy 14 for a minute, and there's always server stuff with that, and I just found myself sitting
Helldivers
there.
2 is like what like the Arrowhead they were kind of small and are now like dipping, this is like Sony backed them kind of thing. So I think they're
Mhm.
just kind of like, oh shit, we didn't know it was gonna be wildly successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every day it's improving, I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're having to figure out. It's tough when you make a good game,
Yeah. And everyone
no
wants
money,
in.
no problems, what I'm saying?
Totally. I've been playing. I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake and the DLC. I finished Crisis Core again. Now 2 on both those, and I'm just ready for that new one to come out. I think this week though I'm gonna put some more time into Persona 3, just because that's sort of I feel like that's gonna be my like when something's not hot, I'm gonna go back and sort of like a big old book, like a big Russian novel, just gotta keep.
One page at a time.
Yeah.
Just-
I take 20 minutes licking my fingers,
Uh-huh.
and then I turn one page. Yeah.
My tip for that, Jeremy, is to lick while you read, so that when you get to the end of that page,
Yeah.
Mm.
you're all slopped up.
Don't start slopping up
Mm.
when you get done with the page.
Yeah.
Start halfway through at least.
Yeah,
so
just
you can...
take it or leave it. But
I'm just crossing my fingers that next year's sound effect for Connor is you're all slopped up. That is good stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'll take maybe a second just to talk about that last Nintendo Direct that came out. Did anybody watch that partner showcase? Anybody? We were all thinking, Connor, it seems like we might have to do our little corner here, our partner showcase corner.
Hey, I
our
think they're
partner
hanging out without
showcase
us.
corner.
And I'm saying corner. I'm not mispronouncing Connor.
I have had people
Kristin.
do that before. So.
Kristin, what do you think they're talking about over there?
I don't know,
Okay,
but I bet it's
so-
really cool.
Okay, so Connor,
It's probably
I'm
not
watching
that
this
cool.
partner
What do you
showcase, and I'm
think?
thinking Switch 2 news,
I'm gonna call an orbital strike on him.
and what I got
Oh, yeah,
was
dude.
Switch 2 booze.
Hey,
I
Jeremy,
got
do you
no
see that
Switch 2
orbital
news.
strike coming towards us?
Oh, is that what that is? I thought...
Honestly, I'll tell you, I had like low to no expectations for this partner direct,
Yeah.
and was like, this was fun. There was stuff that I'm interested in, something I want to play. Like, speaking of friend of the show, Mike Steele, friend to all of us, worked on Penny's Big Breakaway.
Speak for
which,
yourself.
yeah, sorry, Kristin, I put words in your mouth. That's not fair. Yeah, that game I'm really excited about, and it got a shadow drop that day. Yeah, there was plenty in this that I'm excited about, and I think with like Rebirth coming and having such a big backlog, I'm starting to I'm fine with like not getting a bunch of stuff currently. It still casts a kind of a strange shadow on what is to actually come for Nintendo for the rest of the year. So I'll be eager to see, you know, what this year does look like for them, you know,
Yeah.
with the smoking gun or like the smoking gun, the sort of like looming new hardware at some point, now rumored to be next year. We'll
Yeah.
see. What'd you think, pal?
Well, I right away didn't. I know Mike Steele's game, Penny's Big
All breakers?
Yeah, Penny's Big Ball Breaker. I know Penny's Big Ball Breaker came out, and I wish listed it
Nice.
because I was like, this is perfect. I can't play it right now. I'm playing 7 million things, and when a sale comes, I'll grab it. But I did get Pocket Card Jockey
Oh,
because that also stealth dropped. And
right on, Jeremy.
if anyone's a 3DS fan or Game Freak fan, Pocket Card Jockey was a good one. And haven't turned it on, though. Disney's Epic Mickey rebrushed. Does that do anything for anybody? Show of hands, non-verbal. Everyone
I actually am
raised 2 hands?
excited. Yeah, I'm raising 2 hands.
Yeah.
Me. I actually am looking forward to that. I never got to play the original, even though I own it.
Oh yeah, I love
Just
it.
don't ever want
on,
to hook up my Wii.
Yeah, you gotta do Wii stuff if you want.
That was one of my like in a haze 2020 delirious eBay purchases where I got both the first game and the sequel in the same auction and never turned it on, but I want to.
Yeah.
So don't do that now. You can just pay more money
I
for it
know.
again.
Yeah. There was a Contra game that
Oh, yeah, new Contra.
Operation Galuga. Huh.
Is it
Huh.
like old school Contra?
Yeah, it's
or
like a modern
Contra?
reimagining of the original NES Contra.
Huh.
Features 6 playable characters.
I'm interested in that.
I like Contra. Sue me.
I think you're a Contra.
They made well, okay, so what I mean, really, it wasn't a ton of stuff. I mean, it was like, that Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance thing. Anybody care? Show of hands.
Never
non-verbal?
played a Shin Megami.
It seems like it's
Tensei.
basically the Persona 5 Royal for Shin Megami Tensei 5, but
Oh, yeah.
sort
I
of
think
like
that
a
might-
souped up version with
Yeah, I
some
think that's what it
DLC.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played a lot of that number 5. And then they made a big deal at the end. They were like, we have one last big freaking announcement. And it was Endless Ocean Luminous. And I'm just like, is this a thing? I don't remember. They made it sound like it was a big deal. Do you guys know what they were talking about?
No.
I'm looking it up right now.
I feel like there were people in a Discord that I'm in that were very excited for that.
Yeah.
But I'm, yeah.
You guys like fish? I guess Mikey does. All this Dave the Diver crap. He's
Yeah,
talking
can I
about.
sell them in a restaurant?
Hey,
on
I-
Spice?
this is like a big life update. Me and my wife are going to go celebrate our honeymoon finally. It's been a year
Hey.
since we've been married. Just got our tickets to Japan,
Oh.
folks.
Wow.
So I
Nice.
am starting my sushi tour. I cannot wait to do a nice big sushi tour.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's gonna be great.
I am.
You got
so-
a good spot in LA that you like?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
The most consistent sushi spot that I have found that is like not going to like Nobu or something is a place called Mia Sushi in Highland Park. Very consistent. Very good. Very consistent and good. Mikey, do you? You're big into the restaurant scene. So.
Yeah, Sushi Fumi.
Okay.
You know Sushi Fumi?
I don't. Where is it?
Sushi Fumi is on La Cienega, and like 3rd, kind of.
Okay.
And they don't take any reservations. Like you have to just hope that you can get a spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a line immediately.
And that's
It's great.
Fumi
Very,
with
very good.
2 eyes.
Fumi, I think, just
So
one. I.
Fumii.
And this is kind of over
For the
more by
Nintendo Wii.
your neck of the woods, right? It's over
Oh,
by.
I see what's happening.
That's a bad joke.
What were you doing? What was the joke? I
this
missed
is a-
it. I was
Anyways.
mapping.
I'm looking at this Endless Ocean, and I gotta say, this is like one of the best looking Switch games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you're kind of just like swimming with your pals. But the graphics in it for being a Switch game, I'm kind of like, not bad.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Anyway,
Nice
that's all I
shark
got for that.
texture. Nice
Yeah.
textures on the shark.
Yeah.
That
decent.
shark looks so
Decent looking.
textured. I could touch that shark. um,
Anyway.
yeah. Okay, so Sushi Fumi.
Mm-hmm.
You got a second? You got any other, or is that that's the one big that's your go-to?
That's my go-to. Yeah.
Yeah. Connor?
There's a place in walking distance from me called Kombu Sushi.
Ooh.
Pretty good. It's on Sunset Boulevard. Yeah, pretty good stuff. And you gotta go to Sushi Stop, folks.
Yeah, right. Kristin?
I can't eat sushi because I have celiac disease, and they put
God.
I have to make sure that the place uses gluten-free rice vinegar.
Okay,
So I
but if
just
you
don't
had
go.
to recommend a place.
Sushi Neko in Las Vegas.
I have actually had some of the best sushi in my life in Las Vegas. I don't know where it was at this point. It was on the aforementioned Charlie Mihelik's bachelor party.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I ever remember it, Kristin, I'll ask you if it's the same place.
Perfect. There are some good places from the before. I knew that I wasn't supposed to be eating all these things, but yeah.
Sure.
Love
Well.
being a downer.
No. We are so pumped to be talking about our main event topic today, which is 2006's Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, the movie, the magic, the wonder that we experienced all the way back then as little tykes watching Cloud and the gang go up against bad guys and more bad guys. Guys, I know that. So this is I sent a text to Mikey and Connor. Kristin, sorry, I didn't know you were gonna be on the show yet. But after I finished it, I sent them I was just like, yeah, I just finished the movie, and this is what my face looks like, and it's just the emoji of the guy with his like spiral eyes, because that's how I feel.
You
Jeremy,
froze there for a second.
You froze
Oh.
just as you were
You're
about to
back.
describe
You're back
your
with
face.
the in the land of living.
Oh, did you hear spiral eyes emoji?
No.
No.
Oh, yeah, the guy with the black hole eyes. A guy who perhaps has been driven mad by content, you know?
Is the are we starting our discussion at this point?
Yeah.
Folks, I'm can't believe I'm saying this. My expectations were so low. I'd never seen the movie. I had a freaking great time watching this, and I feel like I'm
Wow.
definitely going to be I'm okay with being the only person who feels that way, but I had a good time watching it.
Absolutely, that is a completely valid emotion to have. It's wrong, but it's valid. I think you know what this reminds me of? This movie reminds me of anytime you watch like the like the Sony Spider-Man content, or like the non-Marvel stuff that's
Yes.
still Marvel, where you're like, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man is sure interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting take. Yeah, so let's go around and talk about like how we what's our history with the film. Connor's, yours is short, I guess.
Yeah, I'd never seen this movie. I've also never seen Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, and have been like cautiously um like open to seeing both of these films, which I know are not well liked in general. Um, but I've been aware of this one for a while and never saw it. Wanted to go see it in theaters and just didn't quite get up the gumption to go do it, and then rented it on Apple TV for $3.99 the other night on a Thursday. Watched it from about 9 to 11 p.m. Made a couple cookies, did a lot of push-ups because I was like, dang, Cloud's arms look good.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my history, and then we can talk about the movie as we get into it.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's good. Kristen, what's your history?
I definitely remember when it was coming out, like watching the trailer over and over as a as a teen. And then I watched it at some point like I must have rented it from like the video store when it came out.
Yes.
And then I remember then I liked it because it was just like teenage brain, like, yeah. And then I finally played Crisis Core sometime whenever that came out. And I rewatched it last year and I was like, this is a lot worse than I remembered. Don't ever rewatch this. And then, you know how Connor was telling you that he's been in taking a lot of Final Fantasy VII content?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have Make a Poisoning, baby. Because I've in the last like year and a half, I have played Crisis Core for the first time, played Dirge of Cerberus, and read both of the companion books that lead up to Final Fantasy VII and the book that comes between Remake and Rebirth. Mostly just because, I mean, a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, but some of the content that's in the DLC for Remake is directly related to some of the external stuff.
Yes.
And some of the characters that are in Remake are from the books. And I was like,
that's
why would they do this?
And I hate it.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, maybe I'm just brainwashed at this point, but it made watching Advent Children so much better.
Oh,
I enjoyed I went to the theater to see it last week with my friends.
Yeah.
And now that things like that don't make any sense because they have no context, make sense to me because I read these stupid, awful books there that are not that good.
Yeah, so they re-released this movie in theaters. We should explain, and it's like I think it's been, people who like are fans of Final Fantasy VII are like, yeah, and I think to some extent, I think we're all like that, but like I think a lot of us can acknowledge it's like, yeah, it's not necessarily great. Maybe it doesn't hold up super well. We watched it in 4K. Kristen, you did too if you saw it in theaters, and some of that stuff looks sharp and good in 4K, and some of it looks like, oh no, this was made in MS Paint.
There's definitely a couple of like completely unrendered, unfinished scenes in the complete edit that are like, why did you put that in?
Some shots are so detailed, and then some are just like, baby's first 3D image processing. Mikey, tell me, you were saying that you did see this.
I did when it first came out, and I think kind of more in your camp of spiral eyeballs with my foray with it recently, but yeah, I think much probably like a lot of us, it was a game that like captured all of us, and we really loved that world and all that stuff. And Advent Children was the first time where it was like, oh, this is like kind of how I imagine this world to actually be.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially in 2006, right? Because all we had was the game at that point. So I was like, oh, shit, this is what this shit looks like. And this is what Cloud really, that's how he is. And then, we get the remake. And then I'm like, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now this gives me spiral eyeballs.
Yeah, this was
so yeah, that's kind of my history with it.
This came out like in what they called the compilation of Final Fantasy content back in the mid-aughts, which was like Kristen, like you said, Dirge of Cerberus was part of this. Crisis Core was part of this. This was part of this. There was a phone game that was part of this. And for the most part, I believe there was quite a bit of like retconning. I mean, there will have to be to all this stuff. But the remake in sort of a I don't know, other franchises have tried to do this where they're trying to fold everything in. I think they are trying to make this concerted effort to do that. Even that goofy Dirge of Cerberus junk shows up in the DLC for the remake.
Sure does.
Yeah, where it's like literal bad guys from that are there. But yeah, so Advent Children, yeah, let's sort of talk about it. Like the story is pretty difficult, I think, to grasp and understand.
Now you just read these two novels that are considered canon for some reason.
Yeah, I think what's the problem is it's like lights up. Here's 3 new guys, and they are absolutely like they're really tough. I think. Like
I'm like I almost
personalities.
want Kristin to describe, like
Well,
to summarize.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Okay.
Well, an important question. Did you guys watch the sub or the dub? Because this is my first time watching the dub.
Dub.
I
watched
watched
the
the dub.
Okay,
Yeah.
because in the dub they also like explain things that I don't think they do in the sub. I think the sub just kind of lets some things happen.
Yeah.
Do you guys really want me to summarize the plot?
Yeah. Like at least get us to where the movie starts.
I feel like
I know it's 2 years right after, right?
Yeah, I
Like 2
believe.
years after the end of the game.
In my brain, when the game ends with the world blowing up to smithereens.
But there's the post-credit scene where Nanaki and his
Well,
children.
I guess what I mean by blow up to smithereens is like ends for human life, and then
Fair.
yeah, that because and again, it's like it's because that post credit scene of like Red 13 or somebody and their babies, and then like Midgar is done and overgrown. So I'm not thinking like as a kid. I'm not thinking like, oh yeah, after the events of the game, like they just like started to get jobs and like do stuff. So, Kristin, catch us up. What before we go lights up on Kadaj, Lowe's, and Yazoo? what happens?
So after the events of Final Fantasy VII, all of the people, basically all the people from Midgar, like migrate not that far from Midgar, like it's not that far at all, to a new place. I don't remember if it's called Meteor Fall. I don't think it. No, that's the date that Meteor fell. But they start up this new town. That's the town that is in Advent Children, is not Midgar. They're in another
that's
place
news.
that they've built up. Yeah. And then Shinra is pretty much thought to be, for the most part, no more. But Rufus, there is a very ridiculous escape sequence described in the books where when Rufus was in the tower, and there's like an escape chute that he knew of because when he was a little kid, his dad like threatened to send him down it,
Of
and then he jumped down the escape chute.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Escape
shoot.
Buying that. I buy this.
Yeah, so that's how Rufus is alive.
And like has a bandage that might as well be like the tiniest band-aid for being like exploded in a room.
Yes. Yeah, and then he goes through this whole like big thing where he almost drowns in like a cave with a bunch of other people, where he's like held captive by this crazy doctor. None of that's important in the end.
Yeah. How well are these books written, by the way, Kristin?
Well,
are we talking like I'm picturing Cormac McCarthy writing
well, they are translated, so
okay.
I don't want to judge it too harshly because
Yeah.
maybe it's good in Japanese. I
So,
doubt
like
it.
YA level stuff.
Yeah, YA level for sure. And so that the little kid who is in this movie, whose name is, they pronounce it Denzel, and I was reading it Denzel the whole time.
Yeah, right.
I heard Denzel, and that's my favorite name in this whole fucking thing.
Is this little white kid named Denzel?
I can't believe that is incredible. They're just like, yeah, this little motherfucker's Denzel. Him? This guy?
And it was at the point where I think they, unless I miss his name
the
early in
best
the
part.
movie. Yes. unless I miss his name earlier in the movie, it was right at the point where I was like, who is this little boy? And what's his name? And then I think Tifa or Marlene
Marlene.
say, "Hey, Denzel," and I was just like, "What?"
Ain't no way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should have just assumed that
Ain't
was his
no
name, obviously.
way. The boy Denzel. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
this movie really loves to introduce you and make you spend a lot of time with characters who fucking suck. Like who just aren't in the original game and you're meeting them for the first time. And anyways, Kristin, go on.
Well, so that's the thing. One of the books is like half of it is about him. He
boy?
lived on he lived on like the top of Sector 7, and his parents died when the plate fell. And that's why he wants to use Cloud's cell phone, which they don't explain at all. He's calling back to see if like his parents are answering the phone, basically, which is really depressing because it reminds you that he's just this little kid who doesn't really understand shit. And then people start getting this mysterious sickness. That's geostigma. Up to this point, Cloud is like staying with Tifa and like being kind of normal, doing his delivery service around town. And then once he gets sick, he kind of is like, never mind. I'm gonna be an aloof weirdo.
He became Uber Eats for Midgar, and the way it's explained sort of in the movie is that everyone's getting sick from this disease because like Sephiroth basically just got into like. Imagine if someone like takes a dump in your water supply. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Like,
it is literally what it is.
They're just like, every time I take a drink of water, it's Sephiroth
you got that shit,
there.
huh? You got that Sephiroth in you.
You got that dump. You got that dookie.
You got that E. coli, huh?
Okay, so and then they explain the three bozos as like they are Sephiroth larvae at one point. They're like little baby Sephiroths.
They're like remnants of him, and I can't really remember the details of like if it's like his will was so strong, like one of those types. This is like when a ghost has to keep haunting a place because and then like each one of them is supposed to represent a different part of him.
Sure.
Like, and I don't remember at all what any one of them it represents. But that's like that's their remnants. They're remnants of Sephiroth. And it's been like a year and a half, so I've purged most like a lot of this information. But that's the gist. And then you learn a lot about what the others are doing. Like Yuffie's trying to find a cure for geostigma. Barrett, the reason he has abandoned his daughter, who he would do anything for yet again, is because he's like trying to find an alternate energy source to Mako energy. He's trying to find like coal basically so they can ruin the environment that way.
Like I heard it was like he found like an oil field or something, and I was like Barrett, that ain't what you stand for, man. That ain't it.
No one knows about oil though yet. They just there's no science out there about oil, so they're gonna find out later.
It looks just like the goop all these people are puking up, but I think it's fine.
I found Sephiroth's poop. So okay, one thing here's a big positive right off the bat. Mikey, you were saying this. It's like the character redesign. It's like the first time we see everyone in an upscaled character redesign. Everyone's wearing different clothes and sort of wielding different weapons for the most part, kind of. Vincent is the exact same design, but Yuffie's in a different outfit. Barrett looks different. He's got like cornrows now, I think. Cloud he's got more of his like trench coat looking design.
He's got to cover up that arm.
He's got to cover up his arm. Yeah, Tifa's got like now a more like a flowing thing. Yeah, there's like so everyone like looks different. Everyone looks great, I think, for the most part. Some of the textures on like the faces don't always look like they're coming in
faces.
Yeah, it doesn't look like faces all the time, but for the most part, they do look pretty good. I will say this: anytime I'm seeing one of my friends, I'm in heaven. I'm like, oh. There's Sid.
Seventh heaven. I saw your face, Connor.
Yeah, you saw me hold back, but I thought it.
You should have taken it.
I should have. Jeremy, I'm with you. Like, because they hold off this movie, the cut I watched, which is probably the same that you watched, Jeremy, is like 2 hours and like 9 minutes. It's a long movie, but I think it's over an hour into it at least, if not more than that, when the most of the party shows up too.
Yeah.
So because they held off on that for so long, I didn't know if they were going to be in the movie.
I know. Yeah.
I was pretty excited, kind of like in an Avengers way of like, oh, there's Barrett, and you see the shuriken come in, and I'm like, oh, okay, here comes our girl. Yeah, enjoyed a lot of that, and yeah, it's the first time. I mean, contextual when it comes to context, like I'm seeing this in a post remake world, in a post like Crisis Core remaster world. Like there's so much more of like the modern Final Fantasy VII stuff, but at the time, yeah, to see them sort of consistently in the quote unquote best version of the art style or most realistic must have been like a standout thing at the time, because I liked it now.
It was cool.
Oh, my mind was blown at the time. Yeah.
It was awesome.
I was like, what?
But
sorry, Jeremy.
No, I was just gonna say it does have like what I call the Beetlejuice effect, though, of like Beetlejuice is in the movie Beetlejuice for like I think 5 whole minutes of screen time or something. It's like in your mind he's in it the whole movie, but he's really only in it, and that's how I feel about your party, like Kate Sith, Red 13, all these people. They're in it for screen time, probably total like 3 minutes, like, and that's all you want to be seeing. So that is a huge problem, I think. Like, you see plenty of Cloud, but like, I don't know. I am quite disappointed to return to this.
He's not my favorite character.
He's not. No.
I don't care how many different swords he's got.
Yeah.
6.
Well, I personally love
different
spending so much time
swords.
with Denzel. Everybody, new edition.
I like. And I do want to add though, just to be fair, like I also do like the Reno Rude characters and like love spending time with them. That is, they actually have more screen time than anyone else in your party, but I do like that, and Rufus is cool. Like
Reno and Rude get so much time in the sun in this movie, and I was like for it.
And I think we're to believe they're dead now.
Oh, did
no, they show up after they explode.
They do?
Yeah, they like after they like because I was like, wait, they're just not going to explain why they're there after the explosion.
Oh wow.
Because I swear, because I even thought to myself, I was like, oh, I don't remember them dying.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene after the fact where they're just there yucking it up with Rufus, Elena, and Sang.
That is so funny. That stinks so much because like they have great dialogue for two guys who are about to like go up in a blaze of glory. Yeah, like Reno's like, guess we're clocking out early today. And I'm like, that's a good line for someone who's about to get blowed up. Yeah.
Now I'm second guessing myself, but I swear I had that thought process where I was like, why are they there? How did they live through the explosion?
But yeah, I mean, you see, I think mostly these character redesigns in remake. Like that's they kept Reno and Rude exactly like when they went to remake, and I think like I feel like Cloud's voice actor is the same from this to remake.
I didn't check it, but it felt noticeably different to me. But I didn't check the actor, so I can't say.
Yeah, I don't think they kept any of them. This dub is pretty notoriously.
Yeah,
I hate it.
It's a very low energy dub too. It feels like the direction was like we're gonna be like very serious here. We're not gonna try to like emote. Like Cloud doesn't emote when he'll be in the middle of a battle and just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's just like so understated. Like every line of dialogue.
And then they have that like I was like, oh, this was definitely done in 2006 when Barrett started talking.
Oh my god.
And then they had Marlene do the impression of Barrett.
That is one of my notes.
Woo!
One of my notes is I did not expect Marlene to do a black scent.
Yeah.
That's
good stuff.
First time watching the dub, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Another thing that doesn't age well, I think too, is do we have more on? I definitely want to give that Stay in the Sun because it is wild.
Oh no, I just want to talk about Denzel.
Yeah, yeah. The
I don't want to talk about it.
there is also a scene that happens on like the bridge of the ship where Yuffie is just like being like, "Hey, maybe we should help Cloud," and Kate Sith is like, "I hate you. I hate you. Be quiet." He's like telling her to shut up over and over and over again, and I'm just like, I don't know how this scene was written, but this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like they're in the same scene together. Like as if we're supposed to believe Yuffie's so annoying for just being like, "Hey, let's go help our friend."
Like, I don't think that Kate Sith has played the DLC yet. Like, she is a little obnoxious, but like not to that degree.
Yeah.
Well, and also it's really confusing because is Kate Sith supposed to still like in Dirge of Cerberus? I think they established that the little puppets are their own thing. But in this, they don't talk about is it Reeve controlling him and just doing a Scottish accent for no reason? Or is it an autonomous puppet?
I'm actually gonna be honest. I've always felt like I knew everything about the original base game, like inside and out. I actually have never understood Kate Sith fully. Like, what is going on there? Is it always Reeve?
I always in 7 took it to understand that it was Reeve controlling a puppet, and then in Dirge of Cerberus, they kind of talk about like, oh no, there's just a bunch of them and he can replace them, like, oh, and that's why he gets replaced in the original after he takes the black materia. So
Right.
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It stresses
In
me
the
out.
base game, I don't know. I think this is true, but I could be wrong. I think the accent changes from like Scottish to Southern or something like in the original game
Maybe.
when Kate Sith at some point dies and then comes back right away.
Maybe. It's been a long time since I played that far into the original.
So maybe it's like that the puppets they come with their own voice.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. What are we doing? What are we even talking about?
But
This podcast
it's an important
is
question.
over. This podcast is done. No, it is an important question. Okay. Yeah. So the majority of this movie, though, centers around Kadaj, Lowe's, Yazoo, Rufus, and the head of Genova, Cloud. Everyone's sick. You know, there's a couple of big major fight sequences. Any notable ones that anyone liked? I mean, I think the Tifa one's kind of like a little
church?
iconic, I would say. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's
like
the best one.
it's a really good fight, and then like there is this this things that she does with her hand, where like he throws her across the room, and then you just see that close up of her hand. She like shakes electricity off of it. You know what I'm talking about? That
Oh,
it's like
the
it's
close
like
up.
very striking scene that I think has been referenced a bunch in a lot of different things. Yeah. What do we think about this fight in general? Like piano, we have the fight theme going. It's just piano.
It's great.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that one. That one immediately stood out. It was great. And just in general, like I was the only time in the movie where the fight scenes bored me was, and this is I don't know if you would. I guess this is still a fight scene, but there's a really long motorcycle chase near the end of
Yeah.
the movie, and I started looking at my phone and I noticed that was the first time I was like noticeably distracted or just bored. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I was like, this action stuff, fighting the Bahamut fight. It's that's who they fight, right? Or is it which summon do they fight?
Oh no, you're thinking of the Baja Men.
Oh, they fight the Baha Man. Gosh.
Yeah, they let all those dogs out all over the town.
You brought the wrong summon. They do let a lot of dogs out in this town, I will
They
tell you.
do.
Yeah.
But man, just in general, like love the action sequences. Like so good.
I do dislike the motorcycle ones. I will
Mhm.
say that. Like the motorcycle ones to me just feel like a little bit like
Reminds you
where-
of Roche.
Yeah, it reminds me of Roche. No, I just think like it's just too much going on. I also get a little bored by like some of the Sephiroth Cloud fighting because it's like, well, I don't know. I just feel like all I have is like roasts of the thing. But one thing that kind of takes me out of it just a little bit is like I don't need Cloud and company to be like grounded. Like they can jump high and be stronger than like we are, but like Cloud at one point, like he's like flying towards the Bahamut thing,
You
and
think
then
about
all
when
the
everyone's
human-
like
the human
relaying
ladder?
him up.
yeah, everyone's like pushing him upwards, and I'm like, with what momentum are you even doing that with? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, how's Red 13 gonna grab him in his mouth and like with his neck, like throw him? It just to me was like, that's not how anything works.
Oh, that's when I was the most locked in. It was like, hey,
That was
give me.
better than later when he's fighting Sephiroth. He at one point like uses his swords as like for his feet.
He's getting
Yeah.
power from friendship. Okay,
Well,
Jeremy.
okay, but then later
That's how
he's-
friendship
there's
power
no friends
works.
around, and he has to like jump up a building. It's like scale a building, and when he jumps, he also pulls his swords out, which I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. It seems impossible. Did anyone else bump on the?
Actually, no.
Sounds like no.
Legitimately, it
I
didn't.
think that could happen.
I mean,
It's
I
not
think
Dragon Ball Z, I guess. It's like that's what it felt like when I was
Okay,
watching it.
yeah.
It's like, oh,
Well, I was too far gone at this point in the movie. I'm like, sure.
yeah.
No, Jeremy, this is not a good take because this is Final Fantasy, man. There ain't no rules. Like, there's no rules. You could definitely be propelled by your friendship friends and pull your
That's
swords
wrong.
out.
That's a bad
No
take.
way,
That's a
no
bad take,
way.
actually. You have to adhere to some rules, or your fight scenes are so boring. Like they're just so like they don't make any sense.
I mean, all right. I'm not coming in here looking for any kind of grounded anything. I don't know.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, well,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
If
I
you were to
guess.
restructure it, I guess what would you have preferred than like
A sim,
I guess that kind of
like an actual just sword fight that takes place on the ground.
I
I'll
would
take
not
human
watch that
ladder.
movie.
I mean,
It's that thing of like the Star Wars prequels, right? I mean, this is like a thing that people have talked about where it's like, yeah, like it's Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader in the like original movies. It's such a better scene than any of these like prequel, like everyone's
Then
got
Duel of
100
the Fates?
Yeah, no,
No.
wait, no,
Yeah.
no, the one in New Hope, right? Is that
No, wait.
called Duel of the Fates?
I thought you were saying the original fights are cooler than Darth Maul doing fucking weird backflips.
I don't know, guys. Yeah, I mean, we might just have to agree to disagree here. I
I
think
don't
it
really like
stinks.
Star Wars all that much, to be perfectly honest.
I don't either. But I also just think like, yeah, it means more to me in almost any action sequence if like there are stakes. There's just no stakes. If you can just cut through a wall.
I
that's
think in
flying at
general
you-
that's like almost my pushback with Final Fantasy period is like you just get to a point and there are no stakes. It's
Yeah.
so ridiculous that it always ends up resulting in that. I feel like the games, it like kind of by and large, all of them, I don't know. 10 was just kind of batshit crazy the whole time. A lot of them
Yeah, I
are.
love
But like
10.
7 at least starts and it feels like, okay, there's like an environmental crisis. This is like some real shit. And it's like a guerrilla group. This is like real shit going on. And then, you know what I mean? Eventually, but the whole time it's a guy with a machine gun arm and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Yeah, and
I
I think
suspend some of that, but I feel what you're saying, but I'm also kind of like, it's, you know where it's going. You know it's gonna just get so silly and so crazy.
Yeah, Sid just jumps off the ground into the sky.
I know. Yeah,
all the
for sure.
time in the original.
You
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
summon a giant fucking, you know, a summon. You could summon Shiva and shit. Like that's in this. You know what I mean? Like,
But we're not. But yes, but you still like if you're making a Bible for something, you want it to have rules, right? Like Lord of the Rings is also like it's like a fantasy world, but we understand the rules of it.
You want a Silmarillion?
but
for
that's what I'm
Final
saying.
Fantasy?
I don't think I have ever had a handle on any kind of Final Fantasy rules. I don't think like it at any given time. It feels like anything could possible. Like it feels like
Yeah.
Cloud could just start flying all of a sudden from.
He's gonna
power
grow
or
a wing.
something. I don't know. Like
I think
He can
all,
fly
all
from
the
power.
Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
to your point though, I think those are two great examples where I feel like I do understand the rules in Lord of the Rings and in Star Wars, where where it's like, okay, I understand the Force.
Yeah.
I understand like Lord of the Rings. It's like, yeah, everyone's still affected by like basic gravity in this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But
right.
I don't feel that way in Final Fantasy.
I think
Like-
that I feel it more in the games, but like as soon as I pressed play on this movie, I was like,
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
over.
I think it was partly because my expectations were low, not just for the quality of the film, but like I was like, anything can kind of happen because I've heard some stuff about this movie.
Yeah.
And so when they are doing this human ladder thing, or when Sephiroth is
Not the human ladder.
He's
That's
coming
what
back.
it was. That's
You
what
know,
it was.
when they even bringing Sephiroth back to life, I'm like, this is ridiculous, and this is
Yeah.
some Ganondorf stuff. But like, sure, I want to see him fight Sephiroth. Like, it's a low bar for me, is what I guess what I'm saying.
That's a great. I mean, Zelda's a really great example too. Like, it's like, yeah, like Link doesn't just start like scaling Hyrule, like buildings in Hyrule, and like, you know what I mean, like flying down chimneys and like doing. It's like he has rules to him. He's like, you know, I can do
I
this.
agree.
I can do this power.
I agree with you about Zelda. Not in Final Fantasy.
I would argue the
Like,
I don't got a handle.
the base
What are
game
they?
definitely does have that going for it. I think to some extent.
I
The
think so.
game for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
think
base game. Because like if you watch like the motorcycle sequence in the original, it's just you just go down the highway on a motorcycle.
Okay, but then you also fight weapon from the airship with a sword. How do you propose
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
hitting it with the sword? You're
Well,
flying through it anime
right.
style.
Right. Oh, okay. Can we talk about that too? So you have all this magic and summons at your disposal, but they're choosing to just like Vincent's like pew 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 to this like giant thing, and you're seeing how little that matters. Like you're seeing it
Yeah.
go like doink doink.
It seems
Yeah.
like the materia that the bad guys use, like the one, first of all, like it's weird to see it not slot in a weapon, but just like go into somebody's arm.
Which that's retcon for sure. Right at this point, I think.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It was just like jarring, but it seemed like it was one of those that was like made him faster.
Yeah.
I don't know if it gave him like specific powers, but they had a whole crate of materia.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that fight was really. It's cool to see them all running around, but at some certain points I was like, "What are you guys? What's Red 13 biting? Like just a fold of his many jowled like
Oh, sure.
yeah neck like yeah it pretty.
See, I don't
pretty good
like
stuff.
anime.
Yeah.
And I feel like whenever I go into anything that is anime adjacent, I just have this expectation that I need to accept certain things. And the fight sequences in this are just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be stupid. like
Yeah.
in, there's stuff in Persona where I'm like, this is gonna be stupid. like
Yeah.
just every time. Anytime that something is slightly anime, I accept that it's gonna be ridiculous.
Kind of I guess, does anyone have anything else about the film they would like to voice now before we move into like my one last little thing, which is like the implications of this on Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth? Because there are some that people have theorized, I guess.
I got just like a couple little things.
Sure, please.
I got one as well.
This movie loves to do shots where like one shot ends and the camera will pan up to like a thing of trees, but then it'll pan back down and you're in a different part of the trees.
Mhm.
Like it'll be one scene, pan up, trees, and those trees enter in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They do that like 3 times in this movie, which is
Yeah.
like the first time I'm like, that's a cool idea. And then by the third time I'm like,
Wow.
you're showing me you can do this. That was silly. I think it's a huge missed opportunity. So the voice cast of this movie, it's got some interesting people. Yuri Lowenthal, who voices Spider-Man in the Marvel games, does some voices. Christy Carlson Romano voices Yuffie.
Ren?
She does in Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts as well.
Yeah. I didn't know she did
Dude.
it in the dub.
Yes, I saw her name in the credits, and then but for me, the big missed opportunity was not. It's the first time I thought about it. Not having Rude be voiced by Vin Diesel. I would have just like that would have made the movie 3% better for me.
Yeah. I don't know who Vincent is. I I wonder how they're gonna do Vincent in Rebirth, if they're gonna try to change any of what they were trying to do in the mid-aughts. Because like Kristin, as someone who did play Dirge of Cerberus, you know that like Vincent's sort of like, what if Cloud was like a worse character a little bit, like even more brooding and moody and like edgy and stuff. And in this, he's kind of insufferable. It's like right when you meet him, he's like, you're just like, oh geez, this guy.
People love him.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna play it up.
they're gonna go lean in. You think?
I think they're gonna, yeah, because people are already like, my daddy
Yeah.
Vincent.
Daddy Vincent. He has a great line in this movie where as soon as he shows up into the city, he just says, "Where can I buy a cell phone?"
Yeah,
Dude,
love cell
that's-
phones in this movie.
That was my thing that I wanted to talk
oh,
about.
good.
In the not only in this movie, but in the books, they are so fucking obsessed with cell phones. There is a whole arc in the
So
book
sick.
about how Red 13 doesn't have a cell phone and needs one. And then he finally gets one. And then later he runs into like Barrett or Yuffie and they're like, why is this your phone covered in slobber? And he's like, because I don't have fingers.
Oh
So
my
it's implied
God.
that he
Yeah.
uses his cell phone with his tongue. That's how important cell phones are.
Dude.
It's insane. Like that
Yeah.
whole scene of like this really tragic like phone dropping down to the bottom of the lake while
Yeah.
voicemails play. I don't know what they were thinking.
It's kind of an exciting scene actually, because you're like hearing your friends for the first time on those messages. You're like, oh, they're all calling him. Also,
Right
that
now.
cell phone is like so hyper detailed. Like it is like it looks so tangible, that cell phone.
It looks like this specific type of Nokia flip phone that I had in like 2006 too. Just like
Razr,
the
perhaps?
hinges.
That's Motorola, I think.
Oh, maybe,
Mhm.
but it just was so familiar too.
Yeah. Cell phone stuff in this is pretty fun. Flip phones were objectively better, though. Do we all agree? Show of hands, no nonverbal. Everyone just shot up. Yeah, we love flip phones. I have some friends that are actually going back to flip phones.
So yeah, they make those new ones now.
Yeah.
Those freak me out. Like
The one with the
technology
foldable
shouldn't
screen?
work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cursed.
Okay, so we do have a couple of things. I guess like one big thing that PJ called out in the last episode, and then I looked up, and I guess that is some people are thinking that like the last three little fucko guys you fight in the remake that are like obscure,
Oh yes.
like ghosts are supposed to be references to the three Sephiroth.
Oh, they are explicitly.
They are explicitly okay.
Yeah.
great,
Did
yeah.
you go? You did see it in theaters?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, okay, so at the
I
Fathom
rented it.
event, they played. For some reason, it played after the movie instead of before. But they played like a thing with the developers and I can't think of his name. The most important guy in the whole
Nomura?
Nomura,
Yeah.
says like, oh yeah, we have you fight these guys like at the end of the three whispers, and like basically says it is them. They're just saying everything about this game, by the way.
Yeah.
They're just out there saying stuff.
That's it's kind of wild. If that is like the one reference we get to this movie, I'm happy with just that. I don't think I need them to show up as like in their humanoid form. Does anyone else disagree? Does anyone else want to go see Kadaj in Rebirth or the next one?
I want to see Denzel.
Do we want to
Yeah.
see? Do we want to see
Hell yeah.
Denzel?
Now we're
Absolutely.
talking.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, do you think in the third one, when you have to return to Midgar, that you're gonna have to like rescue him? I feel like guaranteed they're gonna make you have to rescue him.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah.
It's
Is
gonna be
geostigma
awful.
gonna make an appearance in the games?
It's like a post-credit scene.
I don't-
Somebody drinking Sephiroth doo-doo water.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So Final Fantasy VII Advent Children in theaters now. Check it out, folks. It is the hot new film taking the nation by storm. Guys, thanks so much for talking about this piece of shit.
Honestly, I'm so
What a-
glad
it's
that-
been a good
Cinema.
time. It's gonna be been a good
Wow.
time.
I'm so glad you asked me to do it. I'm telling you, folks out there, if you're on the fence, all you need to have a good time when you watch this movie is have a cat with you,
Yeah.
eat 2 pieces of cookie dough, and have 3 drinks throughout the movie. Do like about 200 push-ups in 2.5 hours, and you're gonna feel great.
Yeah. Uh,
Probably
I,
not that many
I,
push-ups.
I
but
wonder what this movie would feel like if you had no context for
I
Final
think
Fantasy
it would be
VII.
bad.
Yeah. My wife, who was sitting on the couch watching it, sort of while on the computer,
Hmm.
and who has some insight into Final Fantasy VII
Yeah.
through, seeing me play it, and was the whole time going like laughing at like all the dialogue, and also just being like, why is his face so weird? And I was like, who? And she was like, him, and she's pointing
All
at
of them.
Cloud. I was like, Cloud, that one? That's the one you think looks weird? She's like, he freaks me out.
I may have been going easy on it, but it really was more coherent than I expected it to be. Like, I think I was like understanding it as it was happening.
Maybe
I
you're just
think.
3 high.
Yeah, could have been that.
No, actually, not this time.
Yeah. I do think it makes a kind of sense. It's not like
That's
it's
a
not,
good way to put it.
yeah, it's not like watching frickin' trash humpers or something. It's not like watching like a plotless nothing film.
Not
You guys ever
trash
seen?
humpers.
No, what is
It's
it?
not
I'm
like a
looking at
David
3
Lynch-
trash humpers
Well-
virgins over here. You guys have never watched trash humpers?
It's not like you have to interpret too much in this movie, like a David Lynch film. But
Thank
it's
you.
also,
That's an easier touch point, I think. For
but I think
for
he is
people at
making
home.
trash humpers. So
David Lynch made Harmony Korine made Trash Humpers. It's like a okay, it doesn't matter. Anyways, thank you folks for listening. We are next week we'll be doing our first impressions on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I have not even played the demo at this point. Have you guys played that demo yet?
I've left it.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. Everything I'm seeing about it coming out, it just looks like it's gonna be just nothing but sweet, sweet chocolate treats for me the entire way through. And that remake, is kind of that same way. Again, everyone's still pretty hot on the remake here, going into Rebirth. I know Connor, you are.
Yeah, had a great
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Good old time.
Well, folks, let's go ahead and plug away. Kristin Thorson, where can people find you?
Dilly dally, silly shally. Or
No!
That was my first note, and I forgot it.
You can find me on Twitch mostly. It's twitch.tv/Kristin. I do streams sometimes. Been playing through stuff. I've got Parasite Eve coming up and Banjo Tooie. Those are on my
Classics.
on my roadmap. And then I use Blue Sky under the same name for the most part. And I've been making YouTube videos every now and then. Same
And they're
name.
really good. I've been watching them. They're great.
Thank you. Yeah, just got to find the time, which won't be here with Rebirth coming out.
Yeah, true. Mikey Stephens.
Yeah. I want to plug suspending your need for rules. Okay,
Suspending your need for rules?
Yeah,
Are you out of your
rules.
mind? This is where I'm
wanna
just like, my brain is breaking. Like, what? It's like if anything can happen, nothing matters.
I didn't expect this. I'll tell you
It only applies to Final Fantasy. Everything else has rules. This is the only place that doesn't.
Do you
can
think
find
though?
me-
Do you think though that the lack of rules that I think you're spot on, that it does in some ways have like a lack of consistency in terms of what people can do. Do you think that hurts or helps it?
I have always held that it is not helpful.
Thank you. Okay,
I
we
have
are on the same page.
always-
We do agree.
I have always felt that way, but I also like don't care in a way when it comes to these games. Like, did you play like 10? Did you play like Final Fantasy 10? I know I'm supposed to be plugging shit, but like, there's some sequences and shit in 10 that's just like, what are the rules? Like, what are the rules? Like, you're in water balls that can float, that like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's just some wild shit that happens in these games that I'm like, at some point I know there will be no rules, and I'm okay with it. I know that going in, I guess is what I'm saying. Going
I guess-
into a Final Fantasy game.
At some point, you do have to fight like the devil. So at some
Right.
point, it does have to get to like outer space level big. But
Right.
for the most part, usually though, I feel like, you know, people are walking on sidewalks. You know, it's not just like
Yeah.
people aren't just like phasing through walls. There are like some sort of logic to things.
Don't ever play 4 if you
Yes.
haven't.
4 is nuts. But I feel like with those older games too, and I'm sorry I'm freaking out. But
I love this. This is
on
great.
these older games, because they're like low poly and like not like 10s and obviously not low poly, but like the older ones, it's like your imagination was filling in the gap. So like when you're on the airship fighting the weapon, you're like, okay, well, I'm not really doing it with my sword. It's just how the game understands how to fight things. Like in my mind, the way it took place was like the ship was shooting at it, flying around. You know what I'm saying? Like your brain definitely fills in the gaps. Everyone's looking at me like cross-eyed. Do you guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Your
we're
brain fills in
spiral-eyed
gaps.
emoji
I
right
do.
now.
I do get what you're saying,
called
but
imagination.
I feel kind of similarly about this when like I will go and have a good old time at, say, a Marvel movie, and somebody will just be like, "This isn't that's not how that would happen," and it's like, it's a fucking comic book movie, man. Like who cares?
But I
you
would
know?
but I would praise Marvel movies for literally having rules. Like, for example, when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, that's a big moment because there are rules. Like it subverts your expectation.
Yes.
No one's supposed to pick it up. That's
I-
what makes it big and beautiful.
I think you think we don't agree, but we do.
Actually, I knew we agreed about 5 minutes ago, but I am still yelling. Okay. Plug.
I just brought it up just to fuck with you because I think it's funny. Come see me on Herald Night. We got 2 more shows.
Oh my gosh.
So and that's it. And then I'm getting shipped back to Seattle or something. I don't know.
That's what's happening next.
That's what happens. They send you back to where you
They
came from.
send you
They're like,
back to your home.
you're not from LA. Go home.
I'll be at your last 2 shows.
Oh, thank you.
That's
you.
great. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make those too.
Yeah, come see Bitchin'. It's a fun team. At Mikey Loves Mikey on the things. That's it. That's all I got.
Connor McCabe.
If you don't already, check out my podcast, Call Me By Your Game, where I have someone on to hear about a meaningful game from a particular moment in their life. All 3 of these people were on some of the earliest episodes of the podcast and are all, Stevens I don't have booked for anything, but Kristin and I are about to do a co-op episode next, in the month of March, discussing our time with Half-Life 2, a game that I forgot to even say I started. And holy shit, the first 2 hours of that game are excellent.
Incredible game. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. So anyway, check out my podcast wherever you get your shows. I'm on social media at Connor_McCabe. Blue Sky, it's just Connor McCabe. I'm on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/consiscool69. You can also check me out on Herald Night. I only have 1 more show that I know of. So we'll see if I continue to perform there. And then a little Patreon
sad.
stuff. We'll see. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Who knows?
You never
Who
know.
knows? Who fucking knows? You could always do like Home Alone, the improvised Home Alone.
Oh,
know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Like how they do
Now
those
that's-
movies.
That's an
Yeah,
idea.
hell yeah.
Yeah, improvised Die Hard.
Oh, Get Out, which they did last night, I think.
Yeah. Hook. They did Hook recently. I wanted to be in Hook.
That would be good. So this isn't me specific, but Patreon specific for Super NPC Radio. This is going to be more relevant, I think, when next week's episode drops, because that'll be in the middle of this. But, folks, the election for our next Games Club is imminent. Starting Friday, March 1st, for literally by supporting us for $1 a month, you can vote on what we play for an entire quarter and cover in a weekly Games Club format. The nominees, as set by the theme from Jeremy Schmidt, first-person shooter adventures, are the original BioShock, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, thanks, Nick, Dishonored, Doom
Yes.
Eternal,
Yes.
and I always forget the last one.
Oh, it's like maybe the best one, Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2. So So yeah, if you're already a patron, you can vote on those. Those episodes air at the $5 tier, but literally if you want to jump in and influence what we play for $1, even just for a month, you'll get our back catalog of NPCs episodes and a bunch of other crap. So yeah, check us out on Patreon, which I'm sure Jeremy is probably going to plug anyway, but I'm always excited during these election times. Like you're dictating what I
the
play
whole
for.
country. Very excited about the election time.
You do influence our content, and I find that exciting. So we'll see.
Folks, you got 2 elections to be worried about right now. One happening on Patreon. The other one happening to the future of. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Patreon.com/SuperNPCRadio. You can find a bunch of bonus content from the makers of this show. Call Me by Your Game, Reactivators, Inside Video Games Classic with July. Michael McCollar is also putting his video game rumors podcast that he just started called Swap. It's a good time over there. Love that show. Yeah, so definitely go up and vote. First-person shooters with a story. Psh, you could do a lot worse, I think. Follow me on Twitter at Ocarina of Crime. Follow the show on Twitter at BGA Comedy Show. We'll be back next week with our first impressions of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Good night. Good luck.